This chart is the carbon dioxide chart. Naturally, the historical range was rated about between under 200 to about 300 atmospheric constellation ppmv here. You can see this is a historically average at about between about a million years, 800,000 years. We were historically within that range. Someplace we had above here, but it's basically between 200 and 300. Right, 2011, which was about 11 years ago, we were almost 400, and we are over 400 today. We might already be at the 2100 lower scenario, and this is an alarming trend that we have to take this. We have to let Biden know what we're up into, and the reason why is why I'm against gas tax cuts, because look, we got to use that money now to invest in hydrogen, solar, and wind energy right now, and less on energies emitting carbons. And also, we could try to achieve carbon negative. That could also be ways that we can be able to decrease the amount of carbons and bringing us back down to that range. See, I like to be in the blue range by 2100. And yeah, I have to say it's not overnight, and we have to say, yeah, Operation Captain Planet. But I have to say, yeah, the power is ours, but the power is in the president to recognize this chart and know that kicking the can down the road isn't an option on gasoline, and say, hey, gasoline prices are really high, we're going to do everything we can to lower back down. That's kicking the can down the road. I gotta say, this is a perfect opportunity for us to educate the customers about the uses of gas in relation of the emergency we have in here. Last week, I think this last or past week, United Kingdom had shattered records when temperatures reached 440 degrees. When record temperatures, I don't know if this happens like here, but when the UK has reached record temperatures, and you can see this part here, and the United Kingdom had red heat warnings, something that was never issued before. This tells me that we need to take that as a wake-up call. UK has had record-shattering temperatures. People really need to have to understand that, we can't just shrug it off and say, so this is just a once-in-a-lifetime thing. No, this is, an engagement of global warming. And so we have to enact a state of emergency based on climate. And that, unfortunately, we're at a tipping point now. And Europe has had wildfires. And now Massachusetts is right now entering a second heat wave. This time next week, we could possibly have another lengthy heat waves. This is going to become like the big normal if we don't enact now. The sea level rises. I mean, Boston is right. Boston has seen floods at the harbors, which are becoming more and more frequent right now because sea levels rises. the fact that, Antarctica has shattered records as well is very cause an alarm. And I think it's right now time to enact a state of emergency. We gotta get these gasoline-powered cars off the road, for one thing. We gotta, think about our kids. Do you want our kids? Do you want our kids paying the price tag because we kicked the can down the bucket? I think the fact is that we gotta take it, as seriously, and or else your kids are going to be faced with a big price tag. Well, we're going to be faced with food shortages. It's already affecting chocolates right now. I think that they're going to have to be able to band-aid the problems by how we can be able to save the chocolates from, being an extinction right now. That's not only chocolates, this coffee, peanut butter, and all other fruits in our food chain that's in jeopardy because of global warming. I mean, the price tag of cheap gas, keeping gas cheap, is actually going to be enormous. It's going to be enormous. It's going to be enormous because a lot of places are going to become too hot to live. Many places that we usually love to be, it's going to be underwater, such as Florida, and plus, parts of Boston. Boston Back Bay could be underwater. The Long Wharf could be underwater. We're going to lose the Long Wharf. Bunch of historical places like, the Union Oyster House is going to be gone. Are we willing to pay that price for kicking the can down the road by keeping the gas prices low? I mean, if we keep the gas prices low, it's counterproductive to, say we're going to have global warming. We're going to have global warming. Look, I think a gas tax hike that could provide the funding towards hydrogen and other incentives for people to live a greener life. I think it's also time to educate the public. Say, look, we can't take ATVs for recreational uses for trails anymore. How about you swap your ATVs in for a horse? May take horseback riding lessons and also, adopt a horse. It's better to go horseback riding than to take an ATV out there towards the trails. I think ATVs, also dirt bikes, it's better off riding a horse than doing those things. Besides, ATVs, they wreck up the environment, and they wreck up the trails, and they wreck up the place here. Swap your motor boats for recreation in favor of, a rowboat or a canoe. You can just, canoe out, just get a canoe out to a lake. Or get a sailboat. Sailboats, they use wind power, and learning how to sail a boat, that could be a good time. And we also have to get incentives, and we may have to put warning labels on gasoline pumps saying, look, every pump you're using is a pump. Every gallon of gasoline you're using is a gallon of gas closer to a catastrophe. I mean, we need to take this hot weather in UK as a wake-up call. So we're going to have them consider a state of emergency, because the term of events of lately, we gotta take it. We need to take it as a wake-up call. Record heats in Japan, in the UK. Record heats right here in our country. Wildfires out west. And not only that, severe droughts that are affecting our crops. Are we willing to kick the can down? So we gotta say to the president, are we willing to kick the can down the road only to face what's happening in the United Kingdom? What's happening in the West, where there's droughts, fires, extreme heats in here? I mean, we say that we're going to be taking some greenhouse things, but it ain't going to be enough unless we have to hike the prices on gas to subsidize the gas tax for a new infrastructure, hydrogen, electric. And I have to say, I think governors and other around the states promote horseback riding. I gotta say, horseback riding is healthy. It's a healthy activity. It makes us better to communicate with animals. It's better recreation. And, you know, it's absolutely cleaner. I would suggest, you know, the manure. I know about the manure crisis in the 1890s, but this is a carbon crisis that we're dealing with right now. Carbon and methane crisis. So, my idea is we need to get into a state of emergency, hike the gas tax, and provide incentives to for greener energy. This is JD out.